Happy Friday the 13th, campers. I'm C-Dub alongside J.C. here at Chronocord Gaming, taking a look at Jason Voorhees here in MKX. Of course, today being Friday, November 13th, the Kickstarter campaign for the proposed Friday the 13th multiplayer game has been funded. It closes today. As we're recording this, it's at $765,000 raised. Pretty remarkable, JC.
Yeah, great job, everyone, getting that funded. C-Dub and I definitely cannot wait for this game. It's projected to be released next year in October 2016. C-Dub, this is still a hugely popular series. I mean, the movies have grossed hundreds of millions of dollars over the past 3 decades since it came out. Now, I know personally I'm a big fan of the earlier movies. The later movies kind of lost me when he kept being resurrected all the time and everything. So I hope that they kind of take the stylistic direction of this game back to the first few movies at Crystal Lake.
Yeah, JC, I agree with you 110% there. It does look like we're going to get a couple of different versions of Jason Voorhees available in the game, from the more supernatural and almost mummified zombie-looking Jason from the later films to the earlier Part 2, Part 3, more humanized Jason. There is also the Tom Savini exclusive designed Jason, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. Tom Savini, of course, is a master of creating horror. He's worked on everything big over the years, and I'm really looking forward to him getting a design in there for adult Jason, something that has not happened before.
Now, as you see, guys, here, C-Dub is in control of Jason for this first match. We will be switching off every match using Jason as kind of a backdrop for C-Dub and I to talk about the upcoming game and other news in the Friday the 13th universe. So C-Dub, we have reached the initial goal for the Kickstarter campaign, but there are more goals to reach with additional funding. What are some of those?
Well, JC, with the $700,000 initial goal that the game had for production, that includes the 1 versus 7 multiplayer that's basically Jason versus 7 counselors online. There won't be any kind of single player mode. However, with the $700,000, we do get the famous sleeping bag against a tree kill, as seen from the movies, as well as a Tom Savini documentary about them creating the new Jason. We are at $764,000, $765 right now, so that does include 2 other stretch goals: the mirror smash, in which Jason bashes a counselor's face against a mirror, and the $750,000 goal, the head crush, which was seen in Part 3 in 3D. The eyeball pops out toward the screen. That one should be a lot of fun in the game. There's some other really cool goals. Some of them are a little bit, honestly, far-fetched. I mean, these stretch goals, they go all the way up to $5.5 million, which include a Jason X skin, a Jason X map, some specific Jason X, Jason in space kills. There's a lot of really cool things that they have here. Looking at it, though, I don't believe that they're going to be able to make it quite that far, though I do believe that the creators of the game have said that they're going to try to get some of these options in there as DLC down the line and try to extend the funding of this game as it's in production. So I'm really hoping for some of those. Some of the ones that we're closer to attaining is the $775,000 Rip Your Heart Out special kill, the $875,000 Many Faces of Death goal, which includes 3 new Jason skins, fan favorites from the different films, the different looks. $925,000 is Fresh Meat, which sees 3 additional counselor skins with unique skill combinations added to the game. There's a couple other ones, including at just over $1 million, Twitch support in-game for that easy streaming on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Definitely looking forward to this game on the Xbox One. As you see, the MKX Jason Tower continues. C-Dub here controlling Jason against Kano. So we went through a lot of these goals on Kickstarter for the Friday the 13th game. C-Dub, I think a lot of them are realistic, but there are a number of them way down the line. We're talking millions of dollars here that are probably not going to be reached.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right there. $5.5 million is a little bit lavish. I mean, it's certainly something that could happen, but at this point in roughly a month, it's hard to say that this game is going to be funded to that amount. I mean, that's just a ton of money. Some of the goals that they do have that are a little bit closer within reach that I think are most important would be the single player survival challenge mode. 1,625,000, where a single player challenge game mode is added to the game. I'm not exactly sure what that would entail. I would guess just completing a list of challenges as one player. Maybe it could just be Jason versus one person and you have to survive. That could be kind of cool. At $1,950,000, that's a ton of freaking money. Offline mode where you get to take on some bots. Now, this one I think is probably more important than the single player survival challenge. I mean, being able to play offline and just kind of practice for the most part, I have a feeling it's going to be pretty vital to being able to survive and kill Jason or be able to really wreck house playing as Jason.
So we know that the game will be taking place around Camp Crystal Lake, of course. C-Dub, there's some other maps that could possibly be developed here by the game maker that could cover some of the other movies in the series. Even though Jason Takes Manhattan is not a great movie by any means, that urban landscape would certainly prove to be interesting playing as Jason.
Oh yeah, man, that would be super cool to be able to go down in the subways and of course the sewer, maybe in Times Square, all locations that were featured there in Jason Takes Manhattan. There's also a abandoned camp map that's one of the stretch goals they might add to the game. I really think that adding multiple maps, multiple skins, as many weapons as they can possibly get in there, I really feel like that's going to be more important than some of these other goals that they have that are kind of just flair and icing on the cake. The environmental kills are really cool, grapple kills, all that stuff. But, you know, I think the meat and potatoes of this game is going to come down to the experience of integrating those famous things from the movies into the game and really immersing players who both play as counselors and as Jason in the experience of a horror movie.
Now we've got the rundown on the new Friday the 13th game, which has reached its Kickstarter goal. C-Dub, let's jump into the other side of the spectrum here. There are rumors and in fact a set release date of January 2017 for a new Jason movie. We're not sure if this is going to be a follow-up to the 2009 movie or another reboot.
Yeah, was actually some talk about it possibly being a found footage movie at one point, which, man, I gotta say I was completely against that happening. From what I understand, it's not going to be a found footage type movie though. They're gonna try to take it back to the classic formula, Camp Crystal Lake. I don't think we're gonna be seeing Jason in space or any kind of ridiculous stuff like that, but I'm really hoping that this new Friday the 13th movie comes out because I was a big fan of the 2009 reboot of the series. I thought that it tied a lot of the major elements from the first 4 films into a nice little package, and it kind of gave it a modern update.
Guess we will have to keep our eyes peeled for more information on this new Jason movie. Personally, I was kind of hoping for Jason Goes to Mars or something of that sort, but doesn't sound like we're going to get that anytime soon. One more piece of Jason / Friday the 13th related news here, C-Dub. The CW network has begun developing a Friday the 13th television series. Now, there's not a lot of details yet on this new show, but I'm not sure what they could do with this for television unless it aired late at night. And I surely hope that they don't follow the blueprint that was used for the late 80s Friday the 13th TV series. It was almost an unrelated show that just kind of borrowed the title for promotion's sake.
Absolutely. It was not related in any way to Jason Voorhees. Had the same logo from the movies, and as you said, it was all just to kind of piggyback off of the popularity of the movies. As far as the show goes, from what I've heard, it may be like I hate to say it, but almost like a soap opera set around Crystal Lake and all these people who live there and how Jason and the legend of Jason is a presence in their lives. I don't know that Jason is necessarily cut out for the TV format, but hey, I'm a big fan of the series, so any more exposure for the big guy in the hockey mask, I'm all for it. Folks, that's it for our Friday the 13th special here on Chrono Chord Gaming. Make sure to go over to Kickstarter, check out the Friday the 13th game campaign. Subscribe here to Chrono Chord Media. We'll be bringing you updates on not only Mortal Kombat X, but the Friday the 13th game, the movie, TV series, anything related to Jason. For my co-host, J.C., I'm C-Dub.